Good evening. Welcome to our City Council meeting this October 20th. It is 6:30 on the dot. It is October 20th, 2025, of course. Welcome again, and I hope you had a good weekend. A couple of reminders. We do have ADA devices. Jeremiah, our city clerk, right there. He has those. If you need them, please, we have like 12 to 15, if I'm not mistaken. So just a reminder there. But we'll start off with the invocation and pledge allegiance. Councilmember Fulmer.
Would you join me in prayer? As we move into this time of the year, let's all take a minute to enjoy the beautiful changing of the leaves and the relief from the milder temperatures bring to us. Let's take a minute to remember all of those breast cancer survivors and those that are fighting this terrible disease at this time. Let's be thankful for all our city employees who work daily to serve and protect us. We need to remind ourselves that those who serve in elected or appointed positions are trying to do what they feel is best for our community. And finally, help us to find ways to end the divisiveness that seems to have overtaken our community and our nation. In His name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. So the next item is recognition, but I am going to highlight real quickly, we have scouts here tonight. Chip, do you mind coming up real quickly and just introducing and saying what they're here for, talking about the citizenship in the community, merit badge, that'd be great.
Sure.
Real quickly.
We have 8 scouts here.
Come, Chip, if you don't mind, come straight up. Yes, yes, sir.
We have 8 scouts here tonight, 4 from Troop 235 and 4 from Troop 7235. That's the girl troop that part of the Fort Hill troops. They are here earning communications merit badge.
Communication, not citizenship.
Yes.
Thank you.
So their A requirement is to attend a city council meeting and to take notes on what happens and to enter into a discussion next time we meet.
Love it. I'm glad they're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Chip, for leading the effort. We appreciate it. Next, recognition. Where's Shannon? There he is, right there to the right. All right, Shannon, I get to read this, and I love reading this. So this is recognition for the 2025 SCAP Professional of the Year Award. It is our pleasure to announce that Clemson's own Shannon Knight was awarded the South Carolina Athletic Program's Professional of the Year Award 2 weeks ago at the Sports Management Institute in Conway. This award is voted on by the SCAP board and is the highest, I'll emphasize, the highest award presented in South Carolina in the youth athletics field. Shannon has been with Clemson Parks and Rec for the past 4 years as the athletic manager and came to us after 12 years in Seneca. We are very fortunate to have him here. Shannon is an invaluable member of the Clemson team, and congratulations on him on winning this honor. Congratulations, Shannon. Speech? It's up to you. We love it, though.
Sure. I just want to say I'm honored and humbled by this award, obviously. Something I was surprised that I got. But I just want to say thank you to the City of Clemson, to the mayor, to the administration, Andy, Allie, to Jay, my boss. Just thank you guys for the support that you guys give us at Parks and Rec, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, all City Council. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, the awards keep on going, so this is also, we're pleased to announce that the City of Clemson's Parks and Rec Department has won the South Carolina Athletic Program's Athletic Department of the Year for 2025. Jay, congratulations and the whole team there. This award is for Class 2, 10,000 to 25,000 population. The award was voted on by the South Carolina Athletic Programs Board and was awarded at the Sports Management Institute, also in Conway, 2 weeks ago. The award is based on the number and type of athletic programs offered, which we are so blessed you offer so many, so thank you. The innovative creation of new sports and the program numbers. The number of athletes that participated in our City of Clemson Athletics was an all-time high of 2,400. Am I reading that? I knew that, but 2,400, which includes 1,000, almost 2,000 youth and almost 400 adults. To be exact, 1,988 youth and 412 adults. This is the 5th time in the last 8 years that the city of Clemson has won this award. Jay, congratulations to your whole team. Speech.
I would like to echo what Shannon said. Without y'all's help, it would not be possible, and that we have a great crew that in our department.
Totally agree. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
I think Bree wants to take a picture. She put up the. Oh yeah.
I'll have to be in the middle.
Get down on the knee.
I can do it right here. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
Good job.
Yes. Congratulations, good job. Hey, Jay.
There's Leslie. Here she comes. So we're also very fortunate. Leslie's going to do the honor of introducing a certification that's a huge honor for one of our employees, Anna. So I'm going to turn it over to Leslie to tell us about the award and the great recognition.
Okay, thank you. So Anna Smith came to work for us in about 2.5 years ago, a little more than that. And I asked, and I always try to encourage everyone in our department to see what they would like to do, certifications, and grow in their knowledge of government finance. So I offered the South Carolina one and Anna's and the national one and certification, and Anna said, I think I want to tackle the national one. So I'm going to kind of go over what it is. So the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada began the Certified Public Finance Officers Program in '97. At that time, it was 5 exams. Now it's 7. The exams include accounting and financial reporting, planning and budgeting, debt management, treasury and investment management, compensation and benefits, risk assessment, and procurement. So those are 7 sections of tests, individual tests you had to pass. And they give you a certain amount of time, and I think you have 2 years to complete them. She started this process when? End of May, and passed them all. And so, such a huge accomplishment. So since its inception, and I don't know how many actually passed it recently, but she is number 1,082. So there are only 1,082 people who've ever taken all 4 exams, or all 7 exams and passed it. And so I usually try to tell people that it is like the CPA exam for government accounting. So, and she was awarded the certificate, and so
Oh, we're coming in the room. Yep. Leslie, you need to get up here for the picture too.
I know she was that there.
she was very cute. I just hired a good person.
You working?
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Did you go to Columbia or local?
No, I was able to do it all online.
Okay,
Self-study,
wonderful. So you
and
were- yeah.
I didn't have to miss that much time at work. I just took the test.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Thank you for being here. Agreed.
Do college over again.
All right. Next, we'll go straight into public session. I will turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, so at this time, we're going to open up public session for any comments regarding items that are not already on the agenda. A reminder that if you do have comments about an agenda item, including the 398 project, we will give you time when we reach that point on the agenda so that it's timely and top of mind when we go into those discussions. These comments are limited to 3 minutes. The floor is yours. And just to confirm, Jeremiah, we didn't have anybody sign. Okay, great. Thank you. I'll leave it for another moment. If anybody would like to make comments? All right, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, all right. So the next item is the possible approval of minutes from October 6, 2025. Would somebody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Next, we'll go into reports and discussion. Reminder, there is a 2-minute limit per speaker. First is to discuss the timeline, structure, and process for issuing a IPRB to partially fund the Arts Center, Abernathy Park, Clemson Park, and College Avenue streetscape between North Clemson and Highway 93. Andy, would you like to lead this off, or are you going to just?
I'll just introduce David Cheatwood. He's
All right.
with our financial
Yes, sir.
advisory team, first try on advisors.
Okay.
Thank you. Mayor, Council, good evening. Thanks very much for having me here tonight. I know since I just have a couple minutes, I'm going to jump right into it here. Here to talk about, just provide you information on a upcoming financing. No action item or anything tonight. This is just information only, of course, but this would be on your potential agenda for your November meetings here. There's 4 different projects the city is looking at funding. Those 4 projects total just under $25 million for a new art center, improvements to Abernathy Park, Clemson Park, and some streetscape improvements. Of that, approximately $24.5 million, looking at financing about $14.5 million of those. And when we start, as your financial advisor, the city's financial advisor, we always start with what are the different financing options you have at your disposal. And there's a number of them under South Carolina law, several of which the city has done before: general obligation bonds, hospitality bonds, water, sewer, stormwater, tax increment bonds, and then installment purchase revenue bonds. Installment purchase revenue bonds you have not done before, but that's the recommended structure here. You all don't have enough capacity under your 8% general obligation bond debt limit to do this. While you could do it with another hospitality bond like you did back in 2023, the benefit of an installment purchase revenue bond is you don't actually have to legally pledge any specific revenue. You can pick and choose different revenues on an annual basis to pay the debt service on this borrowing. And that's really the benefit there. While they're all hospitality eligible projects, legally it just leaves your hospitality revenues free and clear to use to pay this debt service, or if some other revenue source pops up down the road, you can use that. So the installment purchase revenue bond is really what we're focused on here. And your city attorney and bond counsel here, Michael Kozlar, can talk more about it when we get into the documentation process and it's before you for approval in November. But generally, there's a handful of documents that come into this. The key part is there is a newly formed, single-purpose, not-for-profit corporation that is formed, and they are technically the issuer. Yeah, that flow chart actually is probably the best thing to do. They are technically the issuer of the bonds. The corporation issues the bonds. Those proceeds are used to fund these projects, and then the city enters into an agreement with the corporation for use of a facility that we would pledge as collateral, and we're talking about the Arts Center that we would pledge as collateral. You don't need to pledge everything you're financing, just something you're financing there. And so you'd enter into a what's called a purchase and use agreement. You make payments to the corporation in an amount that the corporation can then pay the debt service on the bonds. Each year, you can appropriate from any legally available funds. The intended source of repayment is hospitality revenues. If for some reason you all did not appropriate in a given year, you lose access to the Art Center, essentially, is the structure there. You'd be in great company if you did an installment purchase revenue bond. It's an available structure to cities and counties across the state. Charleston, Columbia, Greenville, Rock Hill, Anderson, Greer, others have done this. So it's a very common financing structure here. Again, while you're not pledging, the intended repayment source is hospitality revenues. We're looking at doing a 30-year financing for all these projects here to, again, provide you approximately $14.5 million to put towards those 4 projects. The estimated debt service is on that right-hand side. You'll see it's a little lighter on the front end. The reason behind that is you have your 2023 hospitality bond that's outstanding. It matures in fiscal year 2023, so we're trying to be a little bit lighter on the front end and then pick up in full freight, estimated to be about $1 million there, beginning in fiscal 34 through 2056. The city collected, estimated about $2.4 million in hospitality revenues in fiscal 25. You use about $570,000 to make that 2023 debt service payment, which leaves you about $1.8 million going forward to pay this debt service and then fund some of the other typical expenses and smaller pay-go projects you use with hospitality revenues. In terms of next steps, again, no action here today. Wanted just to introduce this financing structure to you in these projects. Formation of the corporation Michael's working on here. And then in terms of action, it would be 2 readings of an ordinance with City Council. We're targeting your November meetings for those. The corporation would have to take action as well, adopt a resolution. And then while all of that is going on, we're working with the city to prepare an offering document, get credit ratings, ultimately sell the bonds. The current financing schedule calls for a pricing or a bond sale in early December and a closing, meaning money in the bank, in mid-December. So that's the current plan of finance. Happy to take any questions at this point if you have any, or Michael, Andy, y'all have anything to add?
There's a lot of information to process, so I'm sure we'll have follow-up questions with you guys in the coming weeks.
And that's great. It was really introduction, knowing you've got more to come. Didn't want to hit you with the cold the first time we're asking you to take action on it. So
This is for the future. I'm looking at Jeremiah, and I didn't catch this on the agenda, but just let's break down the acronym. So I'm glad you broke it down, because I was even doing it, reading out. Let's just break it out.
Yeah.
So, it's just bold. So thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for the discussion. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next is staff reports. Andy.
I only have some dates for you.
Yeah.
I have a few dates. Pumpkin Palooza is the 24th, this Friday, from 6 to 8. The next Abernathy Open House will be at the 27th from 4 to 6:30 in council chambers. It'll be the same setup as before with the different stations, with the drawings and designs conceptually. And then Halloween downtown will be on the 28th from 5 to 7. And that's all I have.
We're also doing City Hall trick or treat. Our kids can come in. Each one of our offices will be handing out candy between like 9:30 and 4:30, 27th through 31st.
Just show up and spook you.
Just show up and,
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you both. All right, next is policy action. Just a reminder, 2-minute limits per speaker. I know in previous council meetings, I've kind of given a warning. I'm not going to do that tonight, so just be conscientious of the 2-minute mark. It's on the board here. But first is consider second reading of a proposed plan development, 398 College Avenue. Nathan.
Good evening, council. And an application for the proposed plan development was received by Mr. Mario Bisbal of LV Collective on April 21st, 2025. As currently proposed, an 8-story mixed-use mid-rise residential building and a 5-story mixed-use apartment building will be constructed on 7 parcels totaling approximately 3.76 acres near 398 and 400 College Avenue. This project includes a total of 650 bedrooms within the mid-rise structure and 110 in the 5-story structure. Additionally, it proposes approximately 13,000 square feet of new commercial space and 150 public parking spaces. This also includes the restoration and preservation of an active stream on site. The proposed development was approved on the first reading on October 6, 2025, and there have been no changes since that approval.
Thank you, Nathan.
You're welcome. I also want to mention the developers here, they will not have, they do have a presentation, but they're not planning to present it.
Well, this time we will go right in to open it up to the public. And just a reminder, yes, as Jeremiah is pulling, please sign in, state your name, where you live. And he'll have, and we have the list first, yeah, that's already signed in. First is Fred Burton.
Hi, Council.
Yes, sir.
My name's Fred Burton. I worked 20 years as a civil engineer for the North Carolina Department of Transportation. I was licensed as a PE in that state. That's before I moved down here to Clemson when I retired. Back then and here, I served in the planning board of Marshville, North Carolina for several years, and I served in this town's planning board the year before you all took this current administration to office. Now, in that town, they had a request to rezone a agricultural land for multi-family housing, an apartment complex. It was controversial, so I won't go into that. But the whole thing was nixed because it was determined the small town's water system could not accommodate an apartment complex. My point is this, 398 College Avenue is going to be an 8-story apartment building. Is that correct? I think we should, what should be addressed is what is this project's impact going to be on the utilities? That's water, sewer, electric communications, lighting, traffic and parking, and drainage. And will the developer be responsible for any off-site improvements to any of those? Because what happens on-site, even in the future after it's done, will have impacts off-site. And second, 8 stories, I would really want to know what provisions are made for fire and rescue on a building that size. I've noticed on Patrick Square, there's a 4-story building, a retirement community, and, well, how do you get them out? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next is Rudy Powell.
Good evening. I have just one short statement, that being that I question the legality of having 2 parcels of land separated by a street being considered as a single PD. My reading of your PD regulations is that the land must be contiguous, and your regulation specifically states that parcels of land separated by a street are considered adjoining and not contiguous. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Mary Beth Green.
So I had a question also about contiguous property. So I'm glad that gentleman brought it up. I also was concerned about the sewer capacity, if we had that for this size. And another thing is that it was my understanding while I served for 10 years on the planning commission, and I went through some comp plans while doing that, that the city was requested and agreed to protect residential property. One of the parcels that is going to be placed in this PD is a residential property. I've lived here since 1987, and families have constantly lived there. We don't lack a need for more property to be for single-family residents. We still need more, and we don't need to lose that one. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Bob Burkover.
longtime resident, the chair of the Clemson Next planning effort, a former council member, and quite likely the person in town with more experience than almost anyone in doing projects and plans for city and county governments all over the country related to these issues. I can say with absolute certainty and based on data and facts that I've shared with you all and staff repeatedly in the last several weeks, if this project passes as currently designed, you have thrown out our comp plan and Clemson Next and Uptown Next plans and the hundreds of thousands of dollars we spent on those. You've thrown that out the window. Not anti-growth, anti-development, anti-student, anti-parking reductions, or against this property being developed. The only thing that I care about is that the project is defensible based on the framework and strategies outlined in all those plans. With two changes, stepping down to 3 stories on Riggs and reverting to the original 3-story plan on the 400 property, you can defend this project based on those plans, and I would be defending it with you. The fact of the matter is that the comp plan currently, and has, as long as I've seen it, over 36 years here, has always made clear that the protection and preservation single-family zone neighborhood is a priority. It does so in at least 9 or 10 places in the goals, objectives, and strategies in the comp plan. I sent those to you earlier today as well. There are 3 or 4 goals and objectives about density near campus in the comp plan. But you can't have tunnel vision on one and ignore the other. It's about balance. As an example in the comp plan, Objective 6.3.2 says, encourage the location of higher density mixed-use developments and establish commercial corridors. The only strategy attached to that is explore options for minimizing impacts from higher density uses on your single-family neighborhoods. That shows the balance is important. 5-story building within 25 feet of an R20 road, unacceptable. Don't stuff 10 pounds of crap in a
All right. Thank you very much. Next is Devin Gorey. And while she's coming up, I'm gonna, real quickly, I have been saying the addresses. One was on Downs Boulevard, one was on 105 Martin, one's on Mitchell Avenue, and Ricks Drive, and then Ricks Drive. Yes, ma'am.
When this development came for public input, the developer proposed 8 stories, 3-story townhomes, a footprint that goes on an R20 lot, a pool on top of the roof, and 718 beds. We said it's too tall. We said those townhomes are not townhomes. We said stay out for the residential lot. And please, no pool on the roof by neighbors that have kids and are retired and families. The new plan is 8 stories. Instead of 3-story townhomes, there's a 5-story apartment. It remains on a residential lot, and there's still a pool on top. Instead of 718 beds, there's 760. 760 beds on a 3.76 acre lot is more than 200 beds per acre. To put this into context, the Bixby, the youth center, the Moda, they're 5 stories. 100 to 150 beds per acre. The Hub is 7 stories, and less than 100 beds per acre. The Varsity 3, which you like to have as a comparison, has 4-story buildings and 30 beds per acre. We would like that by our neighborhood. We're not asking for nothing. We're asking for compromise. We're asking for a discussion. It's only gotten bigger after citizens have come out and said, please don't do this to our neighborhood. We know something will be built. It doesn't have to be the tallest building in Clemson. It doesn't have to be the most dense building in Clemson. And there doesn't have to be a party pool on top of next to a neighborhood with young children, retirees, and people that have their families. So we're asking you to do better, and please represent us better. Please don't sell the neighborhood for some parking spots and for $200,000 of allowances. Be like a Coney City Council and stand up for your residents, and please say no.
That we're at the end of the sign up. You can come up at any time. I'll bring it back around, Jeremiah. And please come up and state your name. State your name and your address, please. Thank you, Jerry.
sure why I waste my breath coming up here in front of you people who claim to know what's best for the city of Clemson and their residents. A couple of weeks ago, I brought y'all this little piece of paper right here from the Clemson White Pages, where it says the properties at 398 and 400 Clemson Avenue are for non-student residential, or they're not for student housing. People come up here and cry. People come up here and give all kinds of reasons why this is not popular. I don't know where all y'all live. I know you live back there. I don't know where you live. I don't know where you live. I know where you live. But does this have any effect on y'all? Like, y'all have to drive through this traffic? The other day I went through this area to get back to someone's house back there at the back of the Doubtford Hills, however you say it, and I was just completely surprised at the number of cars that cut through that neighborhood to get to campus. Mopeds, whatever. These people that live in these areas want their children to be safe playing in their yards. They want their children to be safe. Whatever. And I would highly encourage you all to table the vote on this thing, because big stuff is coming out. I don't know if y'all heard about it, but I've read about it. I know y'all are all on social media, on Nextdoor and social media. Y'all need to consider it. Well, you should look into it, Miss Evans.
Thank you, I will.
You should.
Next comment.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Lavala. I'm one of the neighbors who lives in the neighborhood who will be highly impacted on this. I was not even prepared to talk, but I think that is necessary. One, my profession, I am a CPA. My office is in Fort Collins, Colorado. I have said to the city so many years ago that if they wanted to know how to properly build a city university, they can go with me to Fort Collins. I go there, my office is there several times a year. And that is how a city can go or work with a university. And let me tell you, Colorado State University is 3 times bigger than Clemson University, and they did it properly. They protect the downtown, they protect the neighborhood, they protect their neighbors. So I agree with one of my neighbors. I've been in some of the meetings. Why there is no a single negotiation? Why the city planning have those ridiculous questions for the developer when the citizens have submitted so many questions? So many questions. Personally, we submitted 5. Any of them has been answered. Any of them. And let me tell you, there are at least 50 questions that we have asked to the developer. Any of them have been answered. Any compromise. Why we are doing? Why we need to get to this point? That's my question. What is the city getting? What is the planning committee getting from this? Because the neighbors are not getting anything. So that's my concern. Whether the rest of the neighbors are going to look at what we are doing. There are ways to do this. And I am agree, we probably need more building for our students. I am not against a building, but we can do something better. We should be something better. And again, what are we showing to our future generation? We cannot talk. It's white and black. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question. If you have something like 700 beds, you have parking for 300, where are the 400 cars gonna park? And they say that all these students are not gonna have cars. Well, some of them might have 2 cars. Where are they gonna park them? And that lady over there said something about how dangerous is it. Well, if you have cars zooming around Riggs Drive, I walk around 2 miles a day. Today I didn't. I did some other kind of exercise. But having all those cars is not very safe for somebody walking. Now, you say you're gonna put sidewalks. Okay, sidewalks from Martin to, I guess, Stroll Circle. And that will be good, but what about the other area? I don't think we need an 8-story building right there near our residence. Now, thank the Lord, I will not be able to see it. I'm on the other side, but some people that are close to it will be able to see it. And that's what I think.
Other comments?
Well, I think it's that property and that College Avenue that we see up on the screen. I'm not sure, is 123 on top there? Where's 123? Is it above that? Okay. All right, so I think 123 is pretty close to where that's getting cut off. And, okay, that red spot is what's in question tonight, correct? All right, so that's 700 people, correct? Roughly 700? Is that the number we're talking about? Okay. So if you look at where Clemson's going, that red square we're looking at on the screen, that is roughly 1.5 years of Clemson growth, okay? 1.5 years if they all moved into that building, for example. So if we look out, that building will be here for a long time. If we look out 20 years or 10 years, with the planning department, this committee should be thinking on a scale of 10 to 20 years. We should have a vision where we want to be in 10, 20 years. This is buying us 1.5 years out of 20 years. Okay, and it's a very tempting piece of cake for any developer to bite on, because he's going to say, I can charge roughly $2,000 per student and get a good return on investment. The problem is Clemson's a one-horse town. It's a one-street town. My dad grew up here. My grandfather came here. It's still a one-street town. And let's say that the uptown vision that I hear the word uptown. I'm not sure exactly what they mean uptown, but I'm assuming, well, there's your uptown. And look at that. In the uptown, we have maybe 3 or 4 years worth of Clemson growth. So my point is, this is a failed strategy.
We need to wrap it up, yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Other comments?
Good evening. I have just a question to ask each of you, and I don't know the answer to this. And that is these 150 parking spots that the city is going to be getting out of this project. Has any study been done as to how the public parking spaces that have been given to the city from these other developments that have been, built since before, to see are they being used by the residents of the city? Well, not really. Well, yes, because you don't have to you can live in the city and not be able to walk downtown. So are they being used to go to the stores, to go to the restaurants, to go to any place that is going to supposedly be benefiting from these parking spaces? I remember at one of the meetings before, when they showed the plans, and they had the parking spots. The parking spots were in the basement of the building, and how many adults are going to be trying to find those parking spots that are buried underneath and are narrow, and you don't know whether they're filled or not, and you get down there, how are you going to back up? Because that picture that they showed, it was not an easy place to come in and out of. And they didn't want their students to be there. They were designing those for us as residents to be a part of this plan, to get us to think that this is a great deal to get these 150 parking spots. So please do a little homework on that. So maybe postpone this vote and find out whether those parking spots are worth giving up that space for other things besides student housing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. My name is Sarah Gordonier. I'm actually a resident of 110 Azalea across town. I grew up on Riggs Drive. My father has spoken here. He can't be here tonight because he's not great health. Much like many of the residents on Riggs Drive, it is not easy to get in and out of. It has not ever been an easy place to walk or for kids to ride bikes. I learned how to ride my bike on Pool Lane, and it was, pretty treacherous, but it's gotten worse. This will make it much worse. I'm there all the time with my children, who I brought tonight. I came back to this area after college to raise a family, to start a business, which I have had for 15 years here, happily in Clemson, in the Clemson area. I implore you to go back to the drawing board on this. It is not what the community wants. It is not what the residents want. It's not what anyone wants. Please, we're not opposed to progress. We are opposed to this. So please, go back and think of who you represent. The residents, the kids, my children, her kids. There are children, this is the future of Clemson. And you are selling it out to people that are not looking forward. So please, I love this place. I came back here because I wanted to raise a family here. It's a beautiful place. I do believe there's something in these hills. I do, and it's a beautiful people. It's a beautiful environment. Let's keep it that way, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other comments? While we're waiting, we did have some submitted comments, and the Mayor Pro Tem's graciously going to read those.
Yes.
So I'll let you. Yes, thank you.
Okay, the first comes from Mr. Hayes, Woodland Way. He writes, "Dear Council, I'm a hard-working, overtaxed white person living in the neighborhood behind LV Project. I'm writing for 2 comments. First, I want to thank Mr. Jones for the thorough and informed explanation of his vote on this project in the last meeting. While I don't agree with all of his points, it was certainly refreshing to hear from someone who educated themselves about the entire process. Imagine if all council members and speakers were as diligent. It seems to me that the most ill-informed folks are those who don't actually live here, and I'm quite surprised that the city allows non-residents to speak at council meetings. Certainly Central and 6 Mile have meetings they could attend. Second, I understand the desire to have more students downtown, and I understand the benefits the city will reap with this project. though I don't believe the public will ever use the 150 parking spaces being provided. I also greatly empathize with my neighbors who will be directly affected daily by this project and the traffic and noise it will bring. This project seems destined to pass City Council. I would greatly encourage the city to enforce the site management plan it will implement for this project. The penalties for violations of the site management plans for Hub and MODA have no teeth. Allowing Kiwi Trail to be closed and allowing MODA contractors to consume parking spaces in an entire lane of traffic daily have cost residents hours of time and businesses revenue over the last few months. Where will construction crews for LV project park? Where will materials be stored during construction? Who will ensure that Riggs and Strode are not congested by equipment and vehicles? I would encourage the city to put actual fines in the site management plan for violations and require the contractor to have workers devoted to preventing construction traffic on Riggs and Strode. I encourage the city to inform residents on how to report violations. The residents should not be inconvenienced by construction as they have been by Hub and MODA. And again, this is Mr. Hayes on Woodland Way. Is Ms. Hodges here? Okay. The next comes from Ms. Kathy Hodges. She writes, it is unfortunate drawings of 400 College were not completed in time for the Joint Bar and Planning Commission workshop. This apartment will anchor the corner of an intersection that is at the heart of College Avenue. A deeper setback on core quarter building carve-out could create a small plaza completing a city square. Instead, the discussion of the 400 design centered around 6 parking spaces along Strode. A presenter cited the potential to increase that number by straightening their diagonal orientation. Concern for Uber drop-offs blocking traffic was mentioned. The proposed sidewalk connecting Riggs Drive to College terminates at those spaces, forcing pedestrians to walk in the street and reconnect to the sidewalk. The safety of this design has not been questioned. Would replacing the spaces with a narrow, parallel delivery or Uber zone facilitate a continuous sidewalk? Upgrading the existing stormwater drainage at 398 is in our best interest. However, Al and I remain concerned with the diverted stream's underground outlet location. And again, this is Ms. Hodges on Strode Circle. The next comment comes from Mr. Harmon on Karen Drive. He writes, as you are aware, this is opposed by many citizens in our city. And before you vote, I would like to draw your attention to the language that was used in the short-term rental ordinance, Article 4, Section 1377, that you must agree with as you have yet to repeal it. The City of Clemson is committed to working to protect the traditional quality of life and character of Clemson's residential neighborhoods. Concerns about permitting short-term residential rentals include, but are not limited to, concerns about increased traffic, noise and trash, parking needs, safety issues created by increased traffic and population density, residences potentially standing empty for long periods of time, negative impacts on the volume of availability and affordable family residential housing, and other undesirable changes to the traditional nature of city neighborhoods. The language in this section of the ordinance reflect exactly what you have heard repeatedly from the residents of Clemson, but you have ignored. If City Council believes that developments such as this are appropriate for our city, then it needs to be known that they are not in favor of holding up the ordinances that restrict property rights of full-time citizens in the city. If this development is approved, I call on City Council to review every ordinance on the books that was passed with the intention of working to protect the traditional quality of life and character of residential neighborhoods, or include concerns about increased traffic, noise, trash, and parking needs, safety issues created by increased traffic and population density, and repeal them. It's not too much to ask for consistency from elected leaders, and we own the property. We should be able to do what we like with it, right? And again, this is Mr. Harmon on Karen Drive, excuse me. The next comment comes from Mr. Howell on 121 Pool Lane. He writes, good evening, Mayor Halfacre and council members. Thank you for your service. I do appreciate each of you for choosing to serve our community. As a longtime Clemson resident, I believe leadership is calling to serve with humility and wisdom, to listen closely to the people you represent, and to protect what has been entrusted to your care. Many of us who live here full-time are deeply concerned about what development means for our neighborhoods. We've spoken up because we care about Clemson, not just its growth, but its character, its family, and its peace. We are worried about years of construction disruption, traffic and safety in our quiet historic neighborhoods, and a pattern of dense projects slowly eroding the quiet historic heart of the city. Unless the mayor and council can point to a broad, undisclosed support from residents who will live with this project, I think it's fair to say that people have already spoken. To date, only 1 or 2 individuals have publicly stepped forward in favor of this project, while hundreds have expressed strong opposition. A yes vote tonight would tell us that those voices, your neighbors, a yes vote tonight would tell us that those voices, your neighbors, were heard but ignored. This decision isn't just about one building, it's about legacy and stewardship. Your counselors, the people you represent, are speaking loudly tonight. So the question becomes, when does it stop? When do we finally say that enough is enough, that this is the moment to protect what remains? This is your opportunity to say no, to pause the pattern and honor the trust of those who elected you, or have you decided that we open neighborhoods to all developers? So I ask each of you to search your heart before you vote, starting with the council who've already stood with the residents on the first vote. Your vote tonight will define it. And again, this is from Mr. Howell on Pool Lane. Our next comment comes from Miss Turner on Riggs Drive. She writes, "What a disaster for the neighborhood. We have families leaving the area because of what this brings. The Clemson neighborhood is being swallowed up by these huge buildings. We already have issues with traffic trying to get out of our neighborhood. Why does our city not care about the neighborhood and families that have lived here for 20 plus years? We want to live here forever, but feel you will push us out. I vote no to this disaster." And this is Mary Turner on Riggs Drive. The next comment comes from Shannon Sharkey on Pool Lane. They write, "Good evening. I've attended multiple planning commission meetings and the last city council meeting. Our neighborhood is diverse and committed to the city and all of its residents. In the case of the Varsity 3 proposal, there's a larger piece of property with clear benefits to the community in the form of a park, true townhomes, and bus stops. In the case of 398 College, the developer is asking for rezoning of current residential property with a goal to build more beds on a much more compact lot. We are asking for council to not allow a rezoning of property to allow for the tallest building in the city to be built at the entrance to our neighborhood. I ask that the council be patient on voting for any new developments when 2 very large developments are being constructed within the same city blocks and their impact to traffic, safety, and public needs are not known. When emphasizing that this build presents a best-case scenario, I encourage you to consider whether or not that is true. We understand that the property on College Avenue will be developed. We ask that the city does not rezone to allow for larger builds that are disruptive to those that live and vote within the city. Thank you." And again, this is Shannon Sharkey on Pool Lane. The next comment comes from Ms. Mefford on Mitchell Ave. "I'm writing one final time to reiterate my absolute opposition of the planned development on 398 College Avenue. I understand that a building will be built on this property, but I am in absolute opposition to the scale of the project over 5 stories tall and the rezoning of 102 and 104 Riggs Avenue. I cannot believe that the city council would allow for a residential house to be bulldozed and destroyed so a student apartment can be built. The proposed development never should have been allowed to get to this stage, as residents voiced their concern to the planning committee during multiple meetings, and as soon as the residents were aware that such development was being considered. The Clemson City residents' voices have not been heard by the majority of the council members. I urge all other members of council to reconsider their vote and change to voting no." And again, this is Ms. Mefford on Mitchell Avenue. Okay, next comes from Mr. McGuire on Rippleview. Sorry, I want to make sure I don't get this messed up. He writes, "Before council moves forward with a second reading on 398 College Avenue development, I believe there are several issues, including 6, that need to be addressed. 1, planning for the future, not the past. The rationale that we need additional housing to accommodate increasing enrollment may no longer hold. Fewer high school seniors are going to college, and more universities, including Clemson, are expanding online programs. Building as if demand will keep rising doesn't reflect these trends. 2, who will really live here? We've heard this project will attract grad students, young professionals, or families. That sounds good, but where's the evidence? As a former grad student, I look for quiet and affordable housing. This location likely offers neither. In addition, I question whether families with children will want College Avenue as their front yard. If the city or developer has data to support demand by these groups, let's see it. Otherwise, it feels like guesswork. Number 3, the role of race in this process. At the first reading, it was implied that opposition to this project compared to silence for another in a historically black neighborhood might be racially motivated. If there is evidence, that should be addressed directly, but unsupported accusations are divisive. Number 4, a grocery store would be great if it's viable. According to ChatGPT, to be profitable, a small store, 5,000 square feet, typically needs 1,000 to 1,500 regular customers. A medium-sized one needs 5,000. Has anyone studied whether this site can support that? If not, we shouldn't treat the store as a done deal. Number 5, resident input. Some council members stated they talked with residents who supported the project. Contrarily, I've heard from many residents who oppose it and believe the costs outweigh the benefits. We lack data. There's been no structured outreach or dialogue with the broader community. And number 6, emotion versus data. Some say these decisions shouldn't be emotional, but emotion is part of every important choice. That's not weakness, that's just human being. The key is balancing emotion with facts. Right now, the facts, okay, thank you. Just so everybody knows, if I'm unable to finish it, we have provided written copies of these to everybody here, so it is not unread. Again, that was Mr. McGuire on Rippleview, so sorry about that. Next comes from Mr. Wright on Pool Lane. He writes, this development would further alienate the residents of this town and permanently damage the peaceful environment of the surrounding residential areas. Our little downtown area cannot support more traffic, noise, and housing that is unfriendly to families. It's time to listen to the community, your constituents, and take a pause on this unprecedented rate of building large student housing projects in the downtown area. And again, that's Mr. Wright on Pool Lane. The next comment comes from Billy Crumpton on Riggs Drive. Dear members of City Council, we are the Crumptons, residents of Riggs Drive, and we are deeply concerned that City Council is moving forward with approval of this new development. While we understood that this property would eventually be developed, we trusted City Council to ensure that any project would be designed with the interests of local residents in mind. We recognize the close relationship between the city and university, but it appears that downtown development is increasingly focused on students rather than long-term residents. Is that truly the vision for the future of our city? What is the rush to get this approved so quickly? Everyone we've spoken with in our neighborhood opposes the project. Why is an 8-story building being approved when no other structure on College Ave matches the height or scale? Does council not have concern for the people who live in and around the area? Please consider how you would feel if you lived on Riggs Drive or any nearby home. Would you still support this project? Are you trying to push city residents out of downtown? We urge you to vote no on this proposal and instead work toward a better plan that considers the needs of residents, not developers and the university. Thank you for your time and consideration. Again, this is the Crumpton family on Riggs Drive. Next, I have last comment from Ms. Haney on Riggs Drive. She writes, I submitted detailed feedback via email regarding comments made by council members prior to the 5 vote in favor of this development. That extends well beyond College Avenue. I intend for these to be my last comments as I plan to never again step foot in these chambers where I and so many others clearly have no voice, are not represented, and are not only dismissed but lately condescendingly so. Reasons cited for the vote included the approval of the varsity, success in other cities, property rights, and the false assertion that every part of this parcel has been commercial since 1972. The truth is that one lot is still an R20 home. One member even put it on the residents for not being the ones to buy the property ourselves, and another chastised us for not attending every meeting for every PD monstrosity. We were told that this PD now checks every block for Clemson Next, but only after the last-minute promise to simply market 10% as non-student housing. We are so tired of everyone dismissing us of being anti-development. There is responsible growth, and we could have it here. You have city ordinances and codes for a reason. If we want development that is between 3 and 5 stories with a mix of public and private parking, a certain percentage of canopy, etc., make it so and stick to it. You are in a position to determine exactly what Clemson will look like, but you let out-of-state developers decide that over and over again. If you want College Avenue to be a corridor of condos, and you're good with downtown neighborhoods becoming high-density student housing, You would love for the Pasfield residents to finally give up and go away, then say so. I've sat through every commission and council meeting on this development, and only 2 people spoke in favor of this. A yes vote tonight signals once again that Clemson is for sale, and your campaign promises were empty rhetoric. Again, this is Ms. Haney on Riggs Drive. And that is the last of the submitted comments.
Thank you. Continue to open it up. If anybody would like to make any further comments. No other comments? All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of the proposed plan development, 398 College Ave, with the included updates to the PD ordinance.
Second.
All right, comments?
I'll start because I still do have some comments to make. I want to just reiterate what I said before in the last meeting about the numbers. When we're looking at the development, I do agree with what Mr. Brookover said. When we talk about our Clemson Next, we sat through so many meetings to discuss what was the appropriate developments for what we call Uptown now, and going through that. Being somebody who served on that council, I struggled then because I had the feeling that we would continue to grow and would continue to build, even though we had said 1,800 beds, a purpose-built student housing, and then we would try to go with non-student housing. We're meeting that, we're going over and beyond that to protect our traditional neighborhoods and making sure that that would not be an issue. It's now become an issue. And we're running into all those things. And then I also wanted to make clear that the last meeting we had, I don't think race should have ever been brought into the equation. I think it's inappropriate to use the African American community as a pawn in this discussion because it should never be compared. Each development should be addressed on its own merit and not what we did for one development or project or what we did for the other one. But we should not pit it against each other because it does divide communities. And I think that's what that does, that brings in a division. And we also talked about trying to heal as a community. And the hub put so much division amongst us that I do also ask the question. There are a lot of questions still, data, that we can look forward to. And I asked this question earlier, Andy, why did we need to go so quickly? Because these are decisions that we're making that last a lifetime. And when we're making these kind of decisions, I think it's only fair to make sure that we have the best possible going forward. And I will also say that again, that if we want to heal, we do really need to make sure we feel confident that we have the input from the very folks that we do represent, and that is our citizens, who we also agree, because I know we said representing the staff, which I respect, also our planning commissioners, but at the end of the day, we are here to serve and represent our residents of this community, and we just got to make sure that we also take into consideration what that impact has for that community. No offense to our LV collective, because you have an investment and you need to do what's best for you. But at the end of the day, we live here. And so we have to be able to enjoy this community in that way. So I appreciate all the time that you all took, but I do also think if there's any way to represent and delay, I would make that recommendation so that we can feel good and not still continue to have the divisiveness that we have as a community.
I hear you, folks, and I get it. Growth and change is hard. It touches the character of the town we all love. For us on council, the easiest thing to do is always just vote no. But we weren't elected to take the easy way out. Our duty is to lead. That means we have to step up, make the tough, responsible decisions, and manage this growth according to the plans this community already helped create. I have watched and heard as misunderstandings and inaccuracies have been repeated as fact, misinformation that only serves to fuel controversy. Even more troubling, I have heard highly offensive and unfounded accusations regarding the integrity of this council and the motivations of the developer. Let me be clear, we are not working for greedy developers. We are working for the best interest of the entire Clemson community. LV is a private business operating in a capitalist economy, and our job as a council is to use the legal framework we have to secure the best possible outcome for all of our residents. Our duty is to the public trust. My vote today is grounded in the fact that this is a good project because it reflects our comprehensive plan and Clemson Next. It has been thoroughly vetted by the Planning Commission, the Board of Architectural Review, and our city staff. It is guided by sound data and economic responsibility for the future of Clemson. By following the guidelines and recommendations in the Clemson Next white paper, we are following the path laid out by thousands of hours that our residents and planning experts dedicated to creating a foundational document for our city. Yes, things have changed since it was written in 2020. Demand is larger, the university is bigger, costs are dramatically higher. However, the recommendations to responsibly manage growth have not changed. For 398 College, we are essentially left with two choices, and the PD is the only responsible choice. The alternative is a by right option, which would allow a 3-story building with up to 624 beds and 376 parking spots, with no negotiated community benefits. The PD secures neighborhood protections that the by right option would not offer. It is the only way to avoid a worse outcome over which council would have no control. The beauty of a PD is it gives council the ability to negotiate and get real community benefits. I feel like LV has listened and has presented a proposal that addresses the requests made by individual council members. Councilmember Scott advocated for a neighborhood-type market. LV came back with an incentive package that includes build-out costs and free rent for a year. Council members Fulmer, Sherrill, and Evans requested non-student-oriented units. LV redesigned the 400 building to be mostly 1 to 3 bedroom units with targeted advertising for grad students and young families. I requested that the coffee shop and any retail space be truly community-facing and operated as a business for our entire community. That language has been included in the PD ordinance. Councilmember Sherrill requested a donation to our community fund. LV is donating $250,000. We are also securing 150 public parking spaces and the implementation of a large portion of the downtown streetscape plan. Major infrastructure investments that would not happen otherwise and will change the future of our downtown for the better. Some colleagues have tried to downplay the demand for housing, but this utterly ignores the market forces at play. The demand is huge, driven by the growth of Clemson University and the entire upstate. Let's look at the numbers. Since Clemson Next was written, Clemson University's total enrollment has grown by over 2,600 students, from roughly 26,400 in 2020 to over 29,000 today. This is verifiable, rapid growth that did not stop for anyone. In 2024, national experts projected a deficit of over 9,400 beds in our area. The moratorium enacted years ago didn't stop this demand. It fueled it and created the pent-up pressure we see today. One of our city councilors believes her interpretation of demand supports deciding who should run a business here. We as council cannot and should not act as economic gatekeepers. One of the rights of every American is that if they meet the legal requirements, they can open a business. That's a core principle of American capitalism. Should we tell Harris Teeter they can't come to town because we already have too many grocery stores? Where would this type of thinking stop? How would this type of thinking have created the dynamic economy of our country, the United States of America? It is simply not our role. Our job is to legislate fair guidelines and guardrails for all businesses, not to predict the market or call the shots on how we perceive demand for a business making an investment in our town. I assure you, you have been heard. I've spent countless hours on this, talking directly to residents on Pool Lane, Riggs Drive, and others throughout your neighborhood. Their message and my commitment was simple, was secure the best deal possible for our town and the neighborhood. I understand the path forward doesn't always please everyone, but I believe this PD is the most responsible outcome for all of Clemson. When this is over, I sincerely hope we can come together as a community, show the strength of our residents to weather the inevitable challenges, and emerge stronger and better for all of us. Thank you.
Other comments? If there are no other comments, I will at this time, I'll give the last chance just to make sure no other comments. Okay. I'm not going to do a roll call like we did last time. I'll do it like we normally do in council members. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed, please raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next, we'll go to, well, we'll wait. We'll give it just 1 minute. All right, our next item is to consider second reading of proposed zoning map amendment on parcels located on Cochran Road. Jacob. Matt, thank you for closing the door. Appreciate it.
Hello, Council. I'll keep it pretty brief. You guys have seen this one before. It is a rezoning from RM1 to RM3. This would allow for townhouses or even three-story garden-style apartments. And it's got a positive recommendation from from Planning Commission and a positive vote on its first reading. There's been no changes to the proposal at this time.
Comments from the public?
I know I'm the lone one that opposes this, but there you go. Of course, I oppose this. I think it's going to cause, it's going to cause more traffic. If you do, approve this, I think you need to do something with the intersection on College Avenue and Calhoun Street. That's one of the most dangerous intersections in the city, I was told. So something needs to really be done about that, especially maybe with some turn signals or something, because a lot of people don't know how to yield. And I just think it just doesn't need to be happening, because it'll cause more traffic. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'm gonna make a comment first. I think it's important that we hear dissenting voices, so thank you for coming up and speaking to us. while I do disagree, I think it's very important. As somebody who used to live right here, this is just a continuation of the type of housing that's already there. It does cater to non-students. It caters to people like me and my daughter who lived there. And it is a desperately needed type of housing between the high density and the single family homes. This is an area that's already full of that. So I think this is, I said it last time, I'm being iterative, but I think it's a great choice for that area, especially knowing that we need that type of housing. I also have concerns about that intersection. So I think that's a solid point to follow up on. So thank you very much, Ms. Platt.
Yeah, this makes the zoning match throughout that particular parcel there.
Thank you. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the second reading of the proposed zoning map amendment on parcels located on Cochran Road.
Second.
Okay. Other comments? Thank you for those comments. No, you're good. Other comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you very much. Consider a resolution confirming, ratifying, and approving acceptance of the dedication of roads and sidewalks in phases 3C, 4, 7, 8, 9A, and 9B in Thomas Green Boulevard, Patrick Square, and associated right-of-ways, and easements. Nathan.
Evening. This is from a correction for a scrivener's error that we had back when this was approved in 2023. At that time, Patrick Square, the development had corrected any deficiencies that have been found in the roads, the sidewalks, the curb and gutter, and it's held up since. So,
thank you, Nathan.
I just like the term scrivener's error. It's a great term.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it. Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion? Sorry. What's a resolution to? But
I make a motion to approve the resolution confirming, ratifying, and approving acceptance of the dedication of roads and sidewalks in phases 3C, 4, 7, 8, 9A, and 9B on Thomas Green Boulevard of Patrick Square and associated right-of-ways and easements.
Second.
Had to pull out my Roman numerals.
I was going to say, both you and Robert stumbled over those.
testing our skills. Comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next on other policy items, Leslie, is consider accommodations tax committee recommendations for ATAX grants. Thank you, Leslie. You're 2 times tonight.
Yes, so as the ATAX committee chairman brought last time, we have made no changes of the recommendations from their committee. So.
If I may ask, this is the one that Mr. Barley.
Yeah.
Harley.
You're good.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Teasing y'all about Roman numerals, and I can't get his name right. Mr. Bill Harley brought before with the different.
ATAX.
Okay.
Committee chair.
Thank you. Okay.
They're up there too, of course. Questions for Leslie? Comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve the accommodations tax committee recommendations for ATAX grants as presented.
Second.
Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Leslie. Next is consider authorizing the parking service manager to enter negotiations with Walker Consultants for the city of Clemson Parking Study.
I'm going to take this one.
Yeah, because I don't see Rebecca. Thanks.
We found out earlier today about one of the firms who submitted a proposal. They noticed that they weren't on the list of firms that were reviewed. It's because an employee who is no longer employed with us mistakenly thought that their submission was non-responsive. We verified it was fully responsive. So it's not appropriate for us to make a recommendation at this time. We're going to get an entirely new selection committee together, and we're going to have them review the proposals we have, re-interview firms, go through that process, and come back with another recommendation after we've included them appropriately.
Okay.
We're still going to be able to get a game or two in, maybe?
I think it's probably unlikely, but we do have kind of a plan for that.
Okay.
All right, appreciate the update. We'll move to possibly consider awarding the Clemson Heights Water Project 2025 in the amount of $934,114. Is it to Trace? I think Trace Clearing and Grading with an additional $150,000 contingency. Nathan, again, thank you.
So this project has been a long time coming. This will take care of the majority of the neighborhoods in Clemson Heights. The biggest thing for this is replacing the water lines. We have a lot of old, odd-sized galvanized pipes that are in backyards that we're replacing into road right-of-way, so they're easier to maintain, easier with this project, easier to identify, and also easier to identify for our staff when they're trying to locate meters and things like that. Big part about this project is that we do have CDBG funds to be able to assist with repaving that will be happening next year, early winter, late next year, so. Any questions? Sorry.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Nathan.
On the language.
Comments from the public? All right, would somebody like to make a motion?
Sorry, go ahead.
I make a motion that we award the Clemson Heights Water Project 2025 in the amount of $114,000 to Trace Clearing and Grading with an additional $150,000 contingency.
Second.
Thank you. All right, comments?
Is that the same team that did the ABEL clearing and grading? That's what I thought.
All right. Any other comments, questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is Mayor Council reports. Comments and new business.
I'm just going to reiterate that Pumpkin Palooza is Friday, and it is my favorite event of the entire year, and I cannot encourage people enough to go out. I think it is the most fun. I know the team puts a ton of work into it, so if you have the time, highly, highly, highly recommend.
And beware, I'm a judge.
Are you a judge? Uh-oh.
For the jack-o'-lanterns?
Yeah.
Fun.
It is fun. It's a great time at the Art Center, so thank you for bringing that up. Any other comments?
Congratulations to City University for the announcement of the concert coming up. I think that was much anticipated, and they finally announced it's going to be George Strait. So I don't know how everybody feels about that, but it's announced, and that's exciting.
And Cody Johnson, you got to talk about that too.
She doesn't know.
My daughter brought up Cody Johnson, so you know.
And Cody Johnson.
I know, yeah. Okay. So, thank you for bringing that up. Other comments? Any new business? All right, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any comments or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much.